We've heard that being a parent is one of the most rewarding, but the most difficult job there is. And I don't think it's just because you don't have a roadmap. I personally think being a parent is hard when you have to discipline your child. So today I want to talk to you about rethinking discipline, rethinking how you discipline your child. And I want to give you 5 tips that if you rethink how you discipline, that it's going to make it much easier when you actually have to discipline your child. So stay tuned. So yeah, disciplining your child, for me, I think is one of the hardest parts about being a parent, because no one wants to discipline a child. No one wants to see their child's face when you have to tell them no, or you have to give them a consequence, or you have to punish them. No one likes to see that in their child. But that's one of the part of being a parent, is that you have to discipline them. That's one of the jobs of being a parent, is that you have to actually teach them from right from wrong, and teach them to be safe, and so many things that you have to teach them. So today I just want to just give you five things that, as you rethink discipline, I think it's going to make it a little bit easier. And one of the first things you have to do is you have to realize, before you start disciplining, that you have to separate your emotions from disciplining. See, disciplining a child is very challenging, especially when your emotions are involved. You have to separate your emotions so your child won't feel like they're being attacked or they're being pushed away. Remember, discipline is about teaching and correcting and not punishing. And for a lot of parents, they look at discipline as a time to punish your child, but it's really not. It's a time to teach your child and to correct your child when they've done something that they weren't supposed to do, or that you asked them not to do, or to teach them not to do. So it's important for you to notice your emotions. Why are you upset? Why are you angry? Because really what you're doing is you're teaching and correcting. You're not just punishing them. What happens is, a lot of times what parents do is they want to discipline their child after they've become angry. And so that's why you have to notice your emotions first. Before you start the discipline, notice, what are you feeling? Are you angry? Are you upset? What's going on with you? Because if you notice your emotions and be able to separate your emotions from what you're actually supposed to be doing, which is teaching and correcting, then the discipline will go much better. So the very first thing is to actually understand what your emotions are. And if you are angry, if you're too angry at the time to deal with the situation, take a step back. Don't try to discipline while you're angry, because if you do that, then it's going to turn into something other than just a correcting and a teaching. It's going to turn into a punishment. The second thing is for you to understand your child's chronological age. And I say that because sometimes parents, they have expectations that are unrealistic for a child that age. Because depending on their age group, or depending on their age, their cognitive and emotional development might not be there yet. And you may be expecting them to understand something that they're not ready to understand yet. I'll give you an example. So my son, when he was much younger, I don't know if you guys remember the Beanie Babies, how the Beanie Babies, you collect them, you had the tags on them, and they'd be worth a lot of money if you resold it. So I was collecting Beanie Babies because in my mind, I was going to sell them. Of course, I never did, but I was going to sell them. So one day, my son, he cut all the tags off of my Beanie Babies. Boy, was I upset, because I was thinking, why did he do that? Why did he cut those tags off of my Beanie Babies? And so when I asked him why he did it, and I feel bad because I even think, even now, I still remember how his face looked. He was really trying to do me. He thought he was helping me. He said, Mommy, when you go to the store and you buy something, you cut all the tags off of them. So he was cutting all the tags off of the Beanie Babies because he thought he was helping me. He didn't understand the value of the Beanie Babies. He didn't understand that when he cut the tags off, that it wouldn't be worth that amount of money. And that's why I say that you have to understand the different levels and the age of the child, because cognitively you may be expecting them to do something or to understand something that they don't understand. He didn't understand that the Beanie Babies were worth more when they had the tags on. Of course, I had to tell him that, but he was really trying to help me. And so that's why I said you have to understand your child's age, their chronological age, and understand, is what you're expecting of them too much for them to understand? Is it realistic, your expectation? Younger kids need more reinforcement and guidance, while older kids, they need more negotiation, and discussions. So when you understand the chronological age, then that'll help you with your discipline. Number three, the third point, and this is where a lot of parents fall, is to understand that you're going to feel horrible and accept that you're going to feel horrible when your child is upset with your discipline. Most parents want to protect and make their child feel happy. And they don't like those negative feelings. You're uncomfortable when you have to discipline your child. You're uncomfortable when your child is upset with you. And this is where we see a lot of permissive parenting because they don't want their children to be upset with them. But you have to get clear and understand that your child being upset with you is a part of being parenting. You have to understand that discipline is not about making your child happy, but it's about teaching them life lessons. It's about teaching them what they need to know. It's about helping them develop into responsible young adults. That's what the discipline is about. It's not about them liking you. And here we get a lot of parents, they get upset. They don't want to discipline their kids because I don't want them to not like me. Oh, I don't want them to be mad at me. You're the parent. This is what comes with it. And that's what you have to get clear about, is that your child is going to be upset with you when you discipline them, and you're not going to feel good about it. But you know that even though it's difficult to see your child upset, you still have to stand firm on your decision and the consequences, because remember, you're trying to help them. You are trying to teach them and you're trying to correct them. That's your job. So you have to get clear on that. And as you get clear on that, it makes disciplining easier because you know you're not trying to be their friend. You know they may get upset with you, but you know what your goal is. Okay. Number four, if your child is upset with the discipline, take time to listen to how they feel. It's okay for them to be upset, but also you want them to know that you validate their feelings. You want to allow your child to express their feelings and express how they feel. Let me give you an example. My daughter, when she was in high school, she had a friend that graduated and she was in college and she wanted to go down to the college and stay at the dorm. And I told her no. And I explained to her why. You know, it's my job to protect you. And I can't remember everything I said, but it was about protecting her and not wanting her to be in that type of environment. Oh, she was upset with me. But as her parent, what was my job? What is my goal? You have to remember, what is your goal when you're disciplining your child? My goal was so she can be corrected and to teach her. That was my goal. And so she was upset, but I let her explain to me her feelings, and she articulated it very well, why she felt she needed to go. And when she finished, she still didn't get to go, but I validated her feelings and let her tell me how she felt about it. When you validate their perspective and you show your child that you understand how they feel, you don't have to yell. You don't have to go back and forth. They're bantering because you're validating how they feel. But then as the parent, you're still standing firm on what you decide that you want to do. And number five, after you discipline your child, now you need to reconnect with your child. You need to reconnect with your child because you want them to continue to know that you love them and you want to continue to build that bond and that trust with them. So you might not right away after you give the discipline, you might not right away sit down with them, but you might wait maybe an hour or two and go and circle back around. I did that many a times, circle back around. And sometimes my kids, they didn't talk, they just sat there and listened, but it's okay because I am affirming that I still love them because you want your child to know you still love them. You have to reinforce that you still love them. And this is something that sometimes parents don't do because after you discipline them, of course the child is mad at you. Of course they're upset with you. Of course they don't want to speak to you. Like I told you the incident before, my daughter, she wasn't talking to me. For weeks, she didn't talk to me. I mean, she said good morning because she had to be respectful and just the things that she had to say, but she wasn't having any conversations with me because she was upset, and that was okay. But I still let her know that I loved her. So after we had the conversation, I let some time pass. Then I sat down and reassured her that I loved her, that what I was doing is because I loved her, and sat down with her and, did you want to watch a TV show together? And whether she wanted to or not, I was still letting her know that I'm still here for you. I'm still here for you. And even when I had to discipline my children and they didn't like it, I had to give them a consequence. I still let them know I still love you. But sometimes what parents do is get out of my face and I don't want to talk to you and go to your room and make them feel like they're an outcast. You don't want your kids to feel like an outcast because really discipline is not about a punishment. Discipline is about teaching and correcting. So those were the five tips that I wanted to give you that to rethink discipline. If we rethink discipline, that it's not about a punishment, but it's about teaching and correcting, then when you go into it, then you'll have a different mindset about it. So let me know what your thoughts are. Do you discipline your children? Have you disciplined your children? And if so, what were some of the takeaways? What happened when you disciplined your children? So I have the ticker tape going, and please subscribe and like and comment. Here's another video that I created just for you to help you on your journey to be this awesome parent.